Come on and shine, shine, shine. Las Vegas, shine your light on me.
Welcome to Las Vegas Tonight with your award-winning host, Dale Davidson. Dale interviews fascinating guests from top-ranked celebrities to people just like you who have an important story to tell. For more than 15 years, Dale has broadcast every week from the fabulous Las Vegas Strip. He finds the people who really make Las Vegas a one-of-a-kind city and lets the world know just what's happening in this remarkable town. You'll discover why 50 million people visit the entertainment capital of the world every year. Stay tuned for another exciting episode of Las Vegas Tonight.
Welcome to Las Vegas Tonight. I'm your host, Dale Davidson. Thanks for tuning in. Are you going to be glad? Yes, you are. Jenn Rodzinka is with us. She has come all the way from upstate New York. We share a vacation spot from years ago. Let's talk about that first.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, by the way.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. You came a long way.
I did.
Yeah. It's not, how far from Syracuse are you?
Hour and a half.
An hour and a half? So in Lake Oneida, there was a cabin that my parents used to rent for a couple of weeks every summer, and I have such fond memories.
Yeah.
What a glorious place to be. And you would have not one, but two. You said your great-grandfather built two cabins?
My great-grandfather built 3 cabins.
3 cabins.
Since then, we've sold 2, but we still have one family cabin we use, and I spend a lot of my summers up there.
Right on the beach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are trees. There's still big old trees.
Yeah.
And what a beautiful, beautiful place to be from.
Yeah.
And you're staying there forever?
That's up to the Lord.
What if you end up being a huge singer from this big hit that we just heard on the radio yesterday? And when you move to Nashville, will you go somewhere else?
I'll go wherever the Lord wants me to go.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about your journey, if we can.
Sure.
Which is difficult in some ways, but really glorious in others.
Yes.
Let's start with your childhood. You grew up there in Binghamton?
Yep.
Yeah. Tell me what that was like. Tell me about your family, your siblings, your parents. Tell me everything.
Sure. So, yeah, grew up in a little town called Conklin, New York, and my parents have been together since I was born, and I have one brother.
Yeah.
And, yeah, just spent most of my childhood up there. We loved to travel and take trips, and my mom always did adventures with us, so I had a pretty active childhood.
Okay. And then did things get dark as you got older? It sounds like they did. You had some bouts of depression and things like that. Tell me what that was about. You describe it in your bio as a God-shaped hole in your soul, which you were trying to fill with other things.
Sure.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I think I had a pretty normal childhood for the most part. I was born and raised Catholic, and so I knew, the gospel. I believed in Jesus, and I went to church every Sunday and, did the communion, confirmation, and did everything I was taught to do, but I still felt like there was something missing. And after I graduated college, I just kind of went on this journey to find things, what it was. So I had no idea, so I just started kind of trying different things and jobs, hobbies, relationships, locations, led to drugs at one point, and it really became a cocaine addiction for quite some time.
Easy to have something like that happen. Very addictive drug.
And I just, of course, it just put me into a depression, and I just kind of got to a dark place, and I was living down in Florida, so I was separated from my family, and beautiful place to live. I was in the Keys, but wonderful. But
you were training dolphins.
I was.
Tell me about that. Tell me, how did you get that job, and how do you study to be a dolphin trainer?
That's a good question. Well, I think it was honestly all God orchestrated when I look back now at my life, but I always wanted to be a dolphin trainer since I was a kid.
Really?
Always. And people would make fun of me and say, well, there's no dolphins in the Susquehanna River, Jen, so that's never going to happen. I'd said, well, you said it's never going to happen. That just ensured that it will happen because I will take that challenge.
Yes.
And I followed that dream down to the Florida Keys. I had connections that set me up with a place, Dolphin Research Center, and I worked in education. And so I narrated the sessions. I got to be around everybody, but I didn't get to train there, and I really wanted to. So opportunity opened for me. that was perfect timing because the drug addiction was really taking me over at that point to move to Hawaii.
Okay.
And when I moved out there, I was able to become a dolphin trainer.
Oh, okay. And you lived a cleaner life then? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah, it was a lot better. But my path was studying psychology in college.
Wow.
And they said, hey, it's just a study of behavior. You go do that and you can train animals or people.
That's great. I was just going to say, did it help you train dolphins? I was going to say fish, but they're not fish.
They are not.
Yeah. Are dolphins as smart as people say they are?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think
really?
they're smarter than we even recognize. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And then did you train them for a show, or what did you train them to do?
So the place in Florida and Hawaii were more interactive places, and we did a lot of research. So it was open to the public. People could come in, swim with the dolphins, watch research projects, ask us questions.
Right.
So it wasn't really show oriented. So it was more like your intimate relationship with, you know, these animals. You really connected with them.
Oh, that's sweet. You even contemplated suicide, I'm told. Tell me what brought you to that place.
Cocaine, honestly. Depression. After I had left Hawaii, I moved back to Florida to manage my friend's restaurant and just got mixed up with the wrong group of people, and depression started kicking in, and cocaine started taking over again. And one night I was on a 3-day bender. I was coming off, and I fell asleep that night, and I had my first God dream ever. And I dreamed that I died, and I was standing in this like blackness, and I saw this light towards the end of one side, and there was a shadow of a figure of a man standing there. No words were spoken. I didn't see him clearly, but it was just this inner knowing that something had to change. And I woke up right after that, and I was absolutely convinced I was going to die that night. I got up and wrote goodbye letters to everyone in my family.
Wow.
And thankfully, they never had to read those. But the next day, I met a dream interpreter who told me something really dark is going on in your life, and it will take your life if you don't change it. So that was the first time, and it was right then that I had moved to Hawaii. But when I moved back and got into the cocaine again, I reached a night where I just felt like a total failure, and I just felt like, you know what, I just lost my uncle. He had PTSD from the Navy, and I was just really not in a good place, and I decided I was going to do it, and I was just going to overdose that night. And right before I did, I had this feeling to pray. And I really hadn't prayed in a long time.
At that point, you were not a praying person?
No church, no Christian friends. And I'll never forget it. I fell to my knees that night at that moment, and I just said, God, if you're real, help me. Prove it to me. Show me. Reveal yourself to me.
Wow.
Because I don't want to do this anymore, and I can't. And at that moment, this supernatural peace that really does transcend all understanding came on me, and I fell asleep. And I woke up the next morning, and I had that desire to end my life was gone. But I was still kind of mixed up with the drugs and still playing with it. And it led to me calling my mom and just saying, you need to come get me. I got to get home. I got to get out of here. I'm going to die. And she did. She drove down. We had planned 3 weeks later for her to come down. Now, at this time, God really started to work in my life and reveal himself. I was walking dogs, and I would audibly hear his voice. I didn't know what it was at that time, but twice I heard him just say, Jen. And I would look around like, who's calling me, you know? And nobody was around at all. And I just had this peace when I would hear it, but that was it. And then I started looking for jobs at home, knowing I was going to move home.
Yes, this is a good story.
Yeah. And
obviously, God was in the middle of this one.
Yeah, he was. And I applied for this job. I was a bar manager in the Keys, and I was like, you know what? It's something good I can do for now. And I found the restaurant right by my parents' house that was like a really nice restaurant. So I'm like, I'll apply. So I did, and the owner, Mark, called me, and he said, hey, I want to interview you for this job. And I'm like, well, you know, I don't even know if I'm moving home. And, you know, and he's like, well, dang it, like I really feel like, you don't see a lot of dolphin trainers on applications, and I'm like,
that makes you memorable.
So I was like, well, I'll let you know if I decide to move home. And he's like, okay. He's like, I just kind of have a feeling about you. And I'm like, okay. So 3 weeks later, when I made the choice to move home, he called me the next morning again.
Wow.
And he's like, I just want to follow up with you and see if you want this job. And
because I got one.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, and I might have even said it, like, with all due respect, like, why are you waiting for me? You must have a huge stack of applications. And I'm like, is this guy a creeper? Like, what's going on? And he's just like, let's just say I just feel like you're supposed to work here. And I'm like, all right. So moved home and started working there. And that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm.
And he and his wife were instrumental in your life. Tell me about them, what they were like, and what made them special, and what goes into a mentorship relationship.
Sure.
I think people would like to know that.
Yeah. Well, Mark was very obviously Christian, and he would talk about his faith. But he was very loving of everybody and very non-judgmental, which is not something I had a lot of experience with. And his wife, Vicky, just would come in and talk to me and just really kind of just invest in me. And then one night, she said, do you want to go to church with us tomorrow? And I remember saying yes so fast that to this day, I still don't even think it was my voice. And I was like, yes. And I was like, wait, pull that back. I'm not sure.
Let me ask questions.
Maybe? And I ended up going out that night with some friends, and it was just on my heart the whole time. And I'm like, I have got to go to church tomorrow. And I'm like, I couldn't shake it.
Get some sleep.
Yeah. So I was out all night. I think I slept 2 hours, and I called her and I said, all right, pick me up. Let's go.
Yeah.
And she took me to church, to an Assembly of God church.
Yes.
And wow, did my life get shaken up that day.
Tell me what happened.
I walked into that church, and what I know now was the Holy Spirit just jumped on me. And I was shaking and crying and ugly crying, just like losing my mind in there. And I'm like, what is going on? Why am I so sad? I'm not even sad. And, and I just was sobbing through the whole sermon. And the sermon, of course, was on fear of failure. And do you feel like you've been a failure in life and you're not living up to your potential? And of course, it just really registered with me.
He was talking to you.
And he then did an altar call at the end of that. And it was like someone went, like kicked me out of the seat. Yeah, totally kicked me out of the seat. And I ran to the altar. I didn't even know what an altar call was. I'm a Catholic girl.
They don't do those there.
No. Yeah. And I ran to the altar, just snotting, sobbing, just upset, and gave my life to Jesus at that moment. And my drug addiction was absolutely severed at that moment, and haven't touched it since. No desire for it, and just gone. And I went from like 6 nights a week partying to 6 nights a week on my couch reading the Bible, books about the Holy Spirit, trying to learn more about my experience, what had happened. And that was really the beginning of my Christian journey.
You were just really hungry for the Word then. Yeah. Describe what that feels like. For those who have not experienced it, this is really worth hearing. You just really wanted God to speak to you, and somehow you knew that the Scriptures were the answer.
I did, yeah. It became alive to me all of a sudden. I had this hunger in me that just was insatiable. And I was just reading, and the words on the page were just so alive to me. And I could feel myself just becoming a new person, and just realizing, like, getting that fulfillment, that hole was being filled.
What we talked about right at the top of the show. There's a hole in your heart. Would you do anything differently after you converted than you did actually do in your life? Is there anything that you would recommend people do that might make it an easier journey? You see what I'm getting at?
I think really finding somebody to connect to disciple you. Because there's so much to learn, and then there's difference between each denominations, you know? So really trying to understand. And Mark was really pivotal in my life because he had experienced a lot of what I was experiencing. So I could relate because I started having a big bout with spiritual warfare, and he himself had dealt with that as well. So he understood, he had been through it, he could talk me through it. So I don't know that there's anything I would have done different, but I do highly recommend connecting with somebody to teach you, because I was so hungry too and so fast. Sure. I just wanted to dive off the deep end and read all these books.
Great feeling. It's a great
it
feeling.
Is. Yeah. But he was like, okay, you're still on milk. We need, here's the bottle.
Yeah, we'll get
we need to get this concept. And then, he would give me books to read as I progressed. And Vicki was always right there with me, and my mom just became very supportive. And my parents were, like, what is going on? What had changed so drastically? But it was, they were always very supportive.
That's really great. Jen, we need to take a brief break. When we come back, you mentioned spiritual warfare, and you had some demons on you. Yeah. And I want the people who have never experienced that to understand what it is so they can recognize it when it happens. We'll be back with Jen, our new best friend, right after this. The Lord has made it possible for our show, Las Vegas Tonight, to thrive. We've produced well over 300 episodes telling the remarkable stories of Christians who have set out to change the world for the better. It's my honor to lead this ministry. As the founder of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries, I'm commanded to be a good steward of all the donations our partners have so generously provided to us. As you can imagine, it takes a great deal of money to keep this program on the air in the United States and around the world. Please, prayerfully consider making a one-time donation or becoming a monthly partner of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries. Just go to vegassaints.org and select Make a Donation, or send your check or money order made out to Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, number 255, Las Vegas, Nevada 89117. For more information, call 702-480-3989. Thank you, and God bless you. Welcome back to Las Vegas Tonight. I'm your host, Dale Davidson. Jenn Rodzinka is with us, and what a fascinating woman she is. And God talked to her and gave her a song. You're going to find out about it if you stick around to segment 3 right after this segment, and we'll talk all about how that happened. And, and all of a sudden, it was on the radio.
Crazy.
My producer said he heard it on the campus station here, which is a jazz station. And that's not a jazz song.
No, it's not.
And it's a Christian song. And they're not a Christian station. Obviously, it was supposed to be on last night.
Miracles continue.
Isn't that great? That's a great thing. Jen, let's talk about demonic warfare, or whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
Because you really felt that demons were on you. First of all, why do you think that happened? I mean, here you had come to Christ, you had done all the right things, you're deep in the Word, and you're having spiritual warfare thrown at you. Why do you think that happened?
Well, I think that when anybody comes to Christ, it is immediately you're thrown into this, some more severe than others. But I had dabbled in things when I was younger. I had played with, Ouija boards and, played the levitation games, and because I thought they were just games. And even today, that's how they're marketed in stores. But there's a lot more to that. And there are spiritual things. I had gone to psychics and mediators, and, I had played with those types of things thinking they were innocent. But I think also the addiction and just some of my life choices really opened the door for the spirits to come in and attach themselves.
Yeah. And what did it feel like? And did you hear voices? And what was it like?
It was terrifying.
Really?
After I got saved, I started going to that church every Sunday. And every time I started walking in there, I would immediately just like sweat out. And my teeth would be chattering 100 miles an hour, and I would go from hot to cold to hot to cold, and just these physical things that were happening, these manifestations. And, and my mom watched this with me and like, what is going on with her? And so that was kind of like the first level of what was happening.
Yeah.
And then I was home one day and I was hearing these sounds in the home, and Mark and Vicki had taught me just a simple prayer, like, get out in Jesus' name, you know,
Right.
if you hear that type of stuff. And I said it, and oh my gosh, it was like pounding all over the walls. I was seeing like spiritual things on the ceiling that were demonic. And it was just surrounding
like devil
me.
faces.
Yes,
and things?
yeah, exactly. Like,
right.
demon faces. The feeling of when you're sleeping and somebody's standing over you. I would feel impressions of somebody sitting on my bed next to me, but no one was there.
Yeah.
You know, one time I was sitting at a restaurant and I was eating lunch at the bar, and I was on one of those high stools, and I got fully like kicked out of my seat. I went flying across the room.
Wow.
And nobody was around. I was there by myself.
Yeah.
And I mean, there were just so many things that were happening. And then one night at work, I was working at the restaurant still with them, and I walked into the cooler to do some stocking, and this voice it was like, oh, it makes my hair stand up. Like, it's just in my ear. And it was like this poltergeist-like voice. And it was speaking in a different language. So I had no idea what it said, but I knew it was evil. And I ran out of there, and I ran right to Mark. And I was like, this is happening. And he immediately grabbed my hand to pray. And the moment he did, my whole body started manifesting. And I was just shaking and like yelling, and I was so nauseous. I felt like I was going to vomit.
Yeah.
And he said, we need to leave work right now. We need to go to my house and do a prayer session. So he called Vicki and let her know, and I called my mom, and she came over. And
I've seen this happen, and he encouraged you to vomit, didn't
he did.
Because they say that's how you get rid of them.
That's how you get rid of them.
Yeah.
So I went over to the home. They prayed for hours over me, and I did feel like I was so weak. It just felt like this battle, you know, of good and evil going on. And I didn't actually vomit that night. When I went home, he said, if you have to vomit, vomit. I went home that night, and I was sleeping, and I had a dream. And in the dream, Mark and Vicki were handing me this wrapped gift that I knew was a Bible. And I reached out in the dream, and the moment I touched the Bible, I sat up out of my dream and just vomited all over my bed.
Yeah.
It was just, that was it.
Okay, the demons just flew out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but then it happened more and more, so there were different levels, and I ended up having 6 different prayer sessions. We call them deliverance sessions, to really be set free from that.
Right. So you had at least 6 demons in you.
Yep.
You know? Yeah. And that's biblical. I mean, the stories are in the Bible.
Yeah.
Do you think the underworld was taking their last shot at you?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think they knew this calling on my life, and they were trying anything to prevent it. And, you know, and of course there was always the doubt and, you know, what are you doing with these people? Like, you know, those feelings would always come on. So I knew it was just that I was learning discernment, you know, through that process. But it had its place for sure in my life. As scary as it was, I wouldn't take it back. Because after that, I was co-leading a deliverance ministry at the church with Mark and a friend of mine, Michelle.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so then we helped for a couple of years set other people free that had similar things.
Yeah. Do you feel addictions are demonic as well? Do you think that comes from the underworld?
I think there's a genetic component of it, but I also think, yes, it absolutely was. I was the director of a Live Free program, and we dealt with addiction with many people. And I do think there's a demonic stronghold in there for sure, because if they can get you down there, you're never going to reach your potential in Christ.
That's what they want.
Yep.
Yeah.
Correct.
You and your mom were baptized together.
Yeah.
That must have been a wonderful
That was
experience.
beautiful.
Tell me what that was like.
Yeah, that was amazing, because she was learning with my journey as well, this deeper relationship and this whole, you know, another world. And we had that opportunity, you know, we were sprinkled as babies the Catholic way, but, you know, we're ready to do it by full immersion in water, and we just decided we were going to do it together, and we got to stand up on stage and tell our testimonies and then do it together, and it was just such a beautiful moment.
It's a wonderful thing,
Yeah.
And you speak in tongues as well.
I do.
You still do?
Yeah.
And when did that come on, and did that scare you when it happened, or was it an unalloyed, joyful thing?
It was Yeah, I don't think it was scary because a lot of the people in the church had talked about it and I knew they had that gift, so I wanted it.
Yeah.
So I went after it and I asked the Lord, come on, let's do this, you know?
Yeah.
And it was a night where they asked people to come forward and they prayed for me. And what happened right before I got it is I just started prophesying in English about all these things all around the world that I had no knowledge of.
Yeah.
All these different countries.
Politics and
everything.
Yep,
all kinds of
that
stuff.
you never studied.
No. And I am just talking 100 miles an hour, prophesying all these things. And then at one point it just turned right into my heavenly language. And I felt this like rise, almost like this out-of-body experience. And as I was prophesying, and I could see the Lord meeting me in the air. It was a vision. It was so amazing.
Wow.
And he reached his arms around me. And the moment we embraced is when I got the gift.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And it's a regular part of your worship now?
Absolutely.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You dove right into mission trips right
I
from
did.
go, didn't you? Tell me what motivated you to do that, and was there any fear as you were traveling all over the world? Tell me what that was like.
Yeah, no, I don't have any fear about it. I've always loved to travel.
Oh, okay.
So then when I became Christian and developed, I had this evangelism gift, I was like, oh my gosh, let's put these together. This is incredible.
Yeah.
So I just started going to all these different countries with churches and different groups. And to date, I've been on 13 mission trips.
Wow.
And I just so many different countries.
Wow.
And it's I cannot recommend that more than anything else.
Yeah, a lot of churches do them now. Sometimes short term and sometimes long term. Do you have a favorite, or have you gone back to one because you really like the people?
It's hard to pick a favorite. I think India was the most influential the darkest place that I've been.
Oh, really?
But I think Ecuador, I went back after my first time, and we went into the Amazon jungle and to villages and huts and hiked in there, and I got to preach in little wooden churches, and just the Spirit of God would fall so strong and just like wipe out people, you know, and they were just like all slain in the Spirit, and the gifts were flowing, and people were being set free from demonic oppression. And it was just, you know, it's so humbling too to see how blessed we are in this country compared to other countries.
And they are so open to it in other nations. That's been my experience. They're really things will happen. Like slain in the Spirit, you don't see that often here, or people risen from the dead even. And they'll say, well, why does it always happen somewhere else? Because they're open to it, and we're not. Do you think that's what it is?
I 100% do. And what I see a huge difference is the hunger in people. I think in America, we have so many options. We're blessed with that, but it's also a distraction. And I think we make Jesus a part of our world, but it's not our whole world. In other countries, it is their whole world. It revolves around everything they do, and they will walk 4 hours to get to church.
I know.
And church services are not your hour and a half. They are 4 or 5 hours.
All day
but when you are in that and the Lord is at work and that Holy Spirit falls, man, it feels like 10 minutes and you've been in there 6 hours, you know? So I think he responds to the hunger and the desperation and being the only option.
Sex trafficking, which is your major interest now, I think. Tell me how you got involved with that.
That was through a vision. I was at a Christians Women event and with some of my friends, and we were just worshiping and we were singing Good, Good Father. And then all of a sudden, great song. And all of a sudden, I was not in the room anymore. And I was in this jungle. And I was just walking along in this jungle, and I had this little girl, I was holding her hand, this little blonde girl, she was like 7 maybe. And we're just skipping along, we're watching monkeys swing from the trees, and we're just happy. And then we get to the edge of this clearing, and this woman in her like early 20s comes out and meets us, and the little girl looks at me and I nod, and she runs over and jumps in the woman's arms. And no words were spoken, but I knew that I knew that I knew that I had helped rescue this woman from sex trafficking, and this was her daughter that I was taking care of while she was getting the help she needed, and I was bringing her to visit her. And then the vision went out, and I just fell down, and I was like, I think I'm called to human trafficking, and I don't know why I felt like I needed to fleece God after that moment. So I pulled a Gideon, and I'm like, okay, Lord, if you want me to do this, confirm it. And he's like, I just
that
gave you a
wasn't
vision. What
enough?
else do you need?
That's hilarious.
I know. And at that moment, Christine Kane walked out on stage, who I had never known who she was, and her whole ministry is sex trafficking.
Yeah. What's the name of her group again?
A21.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she talked all about it, and I just knew from that moment that that's what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I went back to the church, and my friend Michelle and I just started ministry at the church, and doors were just flying open, and we were getting ministry partners and connecting, and everybody wanted to be a part of it, and we were doing education and outreach in our community, working with survivors.
That's great.
And then we went to India to do human trafficking work as well.
Now you're the head of that board, right?
So there is a human trafficking task force in my area that is over 7 counties, and yes, I'm the chair of the task force.
Are you surprised? Because you said in your bio, I'm a church secretary. You guys are like the sheriff and the mayor.
I know.
But they obviously wanted you at the head of it. I think it was your passion for it, right?
It was, yeah. I definitely felt intimidated because, you got Homeland Security and U.S. Attorney's Office, and there's just Jen.
Wow, that's great. Thank you for doing that. Do you think that is a burgeoning problem, sex trafficking and kidnapping of children and all of that? It's just such horrible stuff.
It is horrible. And what I really want, it happens every day in every county and every city. It looks different, though, than it's often portrayed on TV.
Oh, right.
Kidnapping is very little percentage in our country. Like 3% or something is kidnapping. Most of it is just force, fraud, or coercion or blackmail. And, these victims are sleeping right at home in their beds and, right under your nose, and you don't even know it.
The internet.
Internet's a big one.
Yeah.
But, my goal one day is to do a documentary in the United States about what it looks like here, so we can really keep our kids safe.
I want to hear more about that.
Yeah.
First, we need to take a brief break. When we come back, Jen has promised to sing. So you're going to want to stick around. It's a fascinating story on how she got this song, and with no musical background, they're playing it on the radio. We'll be back with Jen, our new pal, right after this. Hi, I'm Dale Davidson, host of Las Vegas Tonight. Radio has an enduring place in the heart of America. Sometimes it's music that can enliven your spirit or keep you company when you need some. More often for me, it's just been the right spoken word or two that can quiet my mind and soul. Radio brings me a reassuring word in the quiet of night or a welcoming voice early in the morning as I shake off the night's sleep and find my way into God's purpose for my day. And always, I find the best radio station is the one that brings me the best news, the gospel of Jesus Christ. My favorite radio station is KKVV in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's still right where it's been for years, at 1060 on the AM dial, hovering over Sin City like a gospel airship, broadcasting the good news of the abounding love that Jesus Christ has for every single one of us. No matter who you are or where you live, you can receive God's Word via the KKVV Gospel Airship. Just go to kkvv.com and click on Listen Live. KKVV is using all the tools that God's provided them, like podcasting and video streaming and video on demand, to produce programs that lift up our fellow believers and save the lost. If you feel a calling to speak to others about Jesus Christ on your very own show, pick up the phone and call the station. They'll be happy to tell you how. Call KKVV today at 702-731-5588 or drop them an email at kkvvradio@hotmail.com. Please join me in becoming part of the KKVV family. You'll be glad you did. Welcome back to Las Vegas Tonight. We are so pleased to have with us Jenn Rodzinka, who has just been a fantastic guest. We're so glad she came in from northern New York just to see us. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for the trip. Are you going to stay here for a while?
Till Monday.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Long weekend.
Enjoy Vegas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you will. Let's talk just a little bit more about the sex trafficking issue, because speaking of Vegas, this is a hub for that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, prostitution is supposed to be illegal in this county, but obviously it goes on. Tell me your insights as to why this is taking place, why is it increasing, and why is it following a really dark road with minors and all that sort of thing.
The sex trafficking is 12 to 14 years old. 12 to 14-year-old children are what is most desired. So the demand is what's driving the age group to go lower and lower. The internet, child pornography, all of that. Pornography in general leads to it. There's a huge connection between those two because you can only watch it for so long before people want to act that out. So then they go and buy somebody to act it out. And it is on track to grow faster than drugs and guns, because if you take a drug or a gun, you can sell it, but now you need to produce more to sell it again. But with a human being, you can have one person over and over and over and over again being sold. And the average amount years ago, I don't know what it is now, but one person could make $10,000 a month for a pimp. And that, and it's way higher now what it can be. And of course, the younger, the more money it is too.
What do we do to put a halt to this? Obviously, demand is number one, and that is revival. Make people stop doing it. But in the meantime, what do we do?
I think people just need to open their eyes. It is everywhere. You can see it. And I think people don't know what to do when they see it. And they're afraid to be wrong. But for me, I'd rather call it in and be wrong than not call it in and be right.
If you see a little girl with a guy and she looks unhappy, that sort of thing.
You just call the cops and just say, you know what, 911, I want a wellness check. Something's not right here. I've done it in hotels where I've heard screaming children in hotel rooms asking for their mommy and daddy. Oh, I'm calling, and you go check that out. So just call, and you could be saving someone's lives. I've worked with so many survivors, and they say, we're obviously there. When you have 10 girls out with one man in a restaurant, and we're obviously not a softball team, there's something going on. But one way people can kind of get a little more information is if they are suspecting something, try and talk to the victim. Because what happens if they are being trafficked, the person overseeing them, male or women, 60% of traffickers are women. So what happens is they won't let the person talk. They talk for them. They answer for them. So if that's happening, that's a really big red flag right there.
Often try to get the child away, to a restroom or another part of the restaurant or and ask a question and see whether that she'll respond.
You can try to separate, but even there, like I find something, I see a teddy bear they have. Oh, I love your teddy bear. What's his name? Like even in front of the person to see, just random stuff you can come up with on the spot to try and engage and see if there is any,
That's
what
really
happens.
Good advice. And then do you have them call the National Trafficking Hotline, or where do you?
I typically, if it's right there in front of me, I'll just call 911 right there, because once they're gone, the trafficking hotline is great if it's like an ongoing situation, because then they really will do an investigation into that. But if it's right in front of you, like time is of the essence, because they'll be gone.
I get that. Let's talk about your latest passion, the Pets for Vets. Tell me, a couple of years ago you got involved with them, right? Tell me what happened.
So Pets for Vets has been a really cool, it's a nonprofit organization. Nationwide, we rescue and train animals for veterans. And it fits right along with my animal training background. And
your psychology.
And my psychology, there it is. And I'd mentioned earlier, my uncle passed away. He was a veteran, PTSD. It's all very passion-oriented for me. And I'm friends with the owner, the CEO and the founder. Her and I were dolphin trainers together, Clarissa. And what happened is I was working in foster care with children. And it was a deep, dark world, and I was very depressed. And I was like, I need to get out of this job. And I went to a Christian conference, a prophetic conference, And I like fasted for days. And I just said, God, I am not leaving until you give me a new job. That's it, you know? And at that conference, two things happened. Once I got laid out in the spirit for 4 hours, lost my ability to speak. They had to carry me out. Like, that was a whole thing. I had a vision. I had my grandmother came to me in a vision, which actually leads into the song. And she told me, she's passed on, but she told me that the Lord has shown her all the plans He has for me, and I have to do them, and I have to go forward and not be held back.
And the song was part of it.
And it came right after that. So I just connected them recently.
Okay.
But what else happened there is I had a woman walk up to me and say, God's going to give you a dream about what you're praying for, and you're going to know exactly what to do. And I'm like, okay, dreams and visions have become a natural part of my life at this point.
Yeah.
So 2 days later, I had a dream that I was talking with Clarissa, and she was needing somebody in her organization.
Right.
And she asked me, and I just knew that she needed me. So then I woke up, it stuck with me. So I called her just to check in on her.
Yeah.
And she had told me she had lost a position and really needed it filled. But that position was not going to meet my financial need, it was a part-time position. I needed something full-time. And she said, you know what, why don't you send me your resume? So I did. And then their board called an emergency board meeting that Sunday afternoon, and they created a whole position out of dust for me that matched my desires and passions to what they needed. And then they agreed to match my salary. So I knew that the Lord had provided. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been working with them for a few years. Love it. It's
and
wonderful.
what do you do for the vets? What do you pair them up with pets?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
That's great. We rescue the animals and train them for them at all no cost to the veterans.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're nationwide.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
We've got a few minutes left, and I want to get to the song.
Yeah.
I've been promising. Tell me how the song came to you. I want to hear this.
Yeah, so this is the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me. And a couple of years ago, I was in Long Beach, California, and I was just walking along the beach, going through some tough stuff, and I was just worshiping and praying. And then all of a sudden, I just started singing the song. And I'm like, wow, this is a nice song. Who sings it? And the Lord responded immediately and said, you do. And I'm like, I do.
What are you talking about?
I don't sing. I've never had any singers.
I do pets.
Yeah, I'm an animal trainer. And I've never had a passion for music, and I don't play instruments, I don't sing, I don't songwrite. My parents did, but I didn't. And he said, go to this tree, sit down, take out your notebook, and write it down. And I did, and I wrote this whole song in 1 minute. Melody, everything, all the words.
Wow.
So I sat on it for a couple of years, and anytime I was going through some hard stuff, I would just hear it in my spirit. And then I went through a period in the last year and a half that I was starting to have panic attacks and anxiety attacks, and this would start pulling me out of it. And so I knew there was something special about the song, but immediately I started doubting if it was from God, if I just made it up. And then all these people started just coming up to me, strangers, and just saying, God gave you a song. God gave you a song. He wants you to sing it. God gave you a song. And there's a song in your heart. People I've never met before.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. So I went to a conference last October in California, and there was a panel of speakers, and there was this guy, Sean, on the panel. And the Lord spoke to me and said, I want you to connect with Sean. So I'm like, all right. I didn't think it had to be that second. So I walked out the door to go to lunch, and he chased me out, and he said, Jen. And I'm like, hey. And he's like, hey, I'm Sean. And I was like, hi, Sean. He goes, I just feel like we're supposed to connect.
Yeah, I get it.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So turns out him and his music partner, Joe, are producers, and they have won Grammy Awards and Academy Awards, Dove Awards, yep. And they said, this is from God, and you need to sing the song.
Wow.
So I sat on it for another however long, and then I finally said, God, I can't fight this anymore. I called Sean. They said, come out to LA, record the song. So I just did that a couple months ago, and now Breathe You In is available worldwide.
Breathe You In.
Yeah.
Well, here's a microphone. we can hardly wait. Rick, do your magic.
I breathe you in, I breathe you out. Lord, live without. So take me and shake me. I'm never, ever, ever gonna run away. Forever, ever, ever, I am here to stay. I love you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I trust you, Lord. You are my Lord. You are my healer. You are my friend. You're my deliverer. And till the end, I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I trust you, Lord. I trust you, Lord. You are my Lord. You are my healer. You are my friend. You are my friend. You're my deliverer. Until the end. Until the end. I breathe you in. I breathe you in. I breathe you out. You're the one I can't live without. You take my hand. I understand. This is all part of your perfect plan. So fill me completely. I never, ever, ever want to fall apart. Forever, ever, ever, you are in my heart. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I trust you, Lord. I trust you, Lord. You are my Lord. You are my healer. You are my friend. You are my friend. You're my deliverer. Until the end. Until the end. I love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I trust you, Lord. I trust you, Lord. You are my Lord. You are my healer. You are my friend. You are my friend. You're my deliverer. Until the end. Until the end. Breathe you in. I'll breathe you out. 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 I breathe you in. I 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 breathe you out. 'Cause Jesus, you're the one I can't live without.
Amen. Come on. Wow. I think you got a hit. I really do. Well done. And who says you can't sing? You sing great.
Just the
So-
demonic army.
Jenn Rodzinka, what a terrific guest she's been, and what a terrific song.
Thank you.
So it could be a classic worship song.
Yeah.
You never know.
Here's
God
to
bless
hoping.
you for all you've done.
Thank
and
you.
Welcome to Las Vegas, and thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, next time you're in town, and when you're doing your album, when you're releasing your album,
Yes.
please come back.
Sounds good. Thank you,
Jenn
Dale.
Rodzinka, what a terrific guest she's been. And as I try to remember to say each and every episode of Las Vegas Tonight, when it comes to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, please walk with him. God bless you.
Mama said they're not the kind a young girl should be hanging around. Don't throw your life away on those fools and their foolish games. Baby had her own mind, just couldn't see the hands of time or the hand that fate would deal to a little girl in a world that's real. Baby said I won't let go, and I won't give them up. I won't stop till I've had enough. This is my life, my chance to fly. Baby, learn that mama was right after lonely days and long cold nights. Baby was a mama now. She saw her child with that same crowd. As mama left the world behind, her words echoed in baby's mind. Keep your head up high. Keep on looking to a brighter sky. Mama said, don't let go and don't give up. Don't stop till you've done it right. This is your life, your chance to fly. Mama said, don't let go and don't give up. Don't stop till you've done it right. This is your life, your chance to fly. Don't let go and don't give up. Don't stop till you've done it right. This is your life, your chance to fly.
What gave Joseph perseverance? What did he see in that well? A future of uncertainty? A life of fear and pain? Yet even when he was sold, he never gave up. Even after he was wronged, he did what was right. Even when he was all alone, he chose to believe. How did he find the will to carry on? Was it the promise? The dream? Or maybe it was his faith in God that helped him. Despite his circumstances, God used Joseph to influence the world. His story is a reminder that God is never far from us, that He is always in control, and He is always working, even when we don't see it.
Is there a love that is patient and kind, that always protects and trusts, always hopes and perseveres, keeps no record of wrongs? A love that never fails or lets you down. There is a love that embraces you and turns your world into color. It is real and tangible. Jesus displayed this love when He gave His life for us. Even when we fall short, He loves us unconditionally. True love is found in Jesus. We love because He loved us first.
The Lord has made it possible for our show, Las Vegas Tonight, to thrive. We've produced well over 300 episodes telling the remarkable stories of Christians who have set out to change the world for the better. It's my honor to lead this ministry. As the founder of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries, I'm commanded to be a good steward of all the donations our partners have so generously provided to us. As you can imagine, it takes a great deal of money to keep this program on the air in the United States and around the world. Please prayerfully consider making a one-time donation or becoming a monthly partner of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries. Just go to vegassaints.org and select Make a Donation, or send your check or money order made out to Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, number 255, Las Vegas, Nevada 89117. For more information, call 702-480-3989. Thank you, and God bless you.
Come on and shine, shine, shine. Las Vegas, shine your light on me.
You've been watching Las Vegas Tonight with your host, Dale Davidson. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of our show. We so appreciate your loyalty to our program. To keep Las Vegas Tonight on the air, please go to our website, vegassaints.org, and click the Donate button. To send a check or money order, please make it out to Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries and mail it to 9030 West Sahara Avenue, Suite 255, Las Vegas, Nevada 89117. To suggest a guest to appear on the show or any other suggestions or questions, write to Dale at dalewdavidson@yahoo.com or call him at 702-480-3989.
Shine, Las Vegas, shine.